Little bonus remix there. Hey, everybody, it is Thursday night, and what's that mean? That means it's time for another episode of Thrifty Business. How the heck are you? I'm your one host, Vegas J.
Hi, I'm Debbie. You all know me.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
All right, let's get right to our first segment so we can introduce our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Jay's Tiki Talker. Each week, I drink a different rum out of a different tiki mug, and I match up to our guest. And our guest tonight, and damn it, I forgot to ask you how to properly pronounce your last name before we went live. Our guest is David Kosciusko. David, how you say your last name?
Hi, it's Kosciusko.
Kosciusko, okay.
Kosciusko, yeah.
I knew that.
These are the moments when I love having Smith. I don't normally love having Smith, but, you know, I have never heard Smith wrong in my life.
I long for a Smith last name, but I guess that's just what it is.
Yeah. All right. So David is from Rhode Island, and I've used this rum many times, and it's really good. So luckily, we've had a lot of Rhode Island guests. So this rum is right from Rhode Island. And as you can see, oops, I did finish it. There's one little sip left. There we go.
Don't waste it.
It's Thomas 2. It's a really good rum, small batch right from Rhode Island. And we'll talk about this a little bit when we get to the interview, but David is into Magic the Gathering. And so I said, hey, are there any Krakens in Magic the Gathering? He goes, yeah, Leviathans. So I've got this mug from Mung Tiki.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
Kraken wrapping around the squeezing the ship.
That's awesome. Now, do you give your mugs to your guests?
Do I give my mugs to my guests? No. If they come visit, I'll give them a Denison glass, but I don't give them the mugs.
Okay, well,
what are you drinking tonight, Debs?
I have Prosser Navy rum. Can you see that?
Prosser, very nice.
And then
British Navy.
Oh, it's British Navy. Oh, I didn't know that. And then I have a mug from Latitude 29.
Oh, very nice.
The Navy is in Rhode Island, and I think latitude is a measurement that they use. So I worked hard this time.
And David, where's your tiki mug?
No tiki mug for me. I got just a seltzer water can.
Hey,
if that counts.
All right, you got like 27 minutes to find a tiki mug. So hang tight, enjoy the show. And we'll see you in a little bit, buddy.
Bye.
Yeah, I surprised him like, oh, where's your tiki mug? Huh? All right, we got a ton of content tonight, including my now famous Chicago story. So stay tuned. But first, time for Scores of the Week, where Debbie and I share with you the cool stuff we've sold. What these are bolos. What to be on the lookout for.
Okay, these are those Walter Foster art, how to draw books and things. I will see these and I'll collect them. And so when I get quite a few, I'll put them together. But it only sold for $35 because they had been listed quite a while. So that was what those sold for.
$58. Nice.
No, it was 35. 35.
Sorry.
Okay, and now my very first San Marcos blanket I ever found and sold. We accepted an offer for $100.
And this one's kind of unique. I've sold one with horses too. The horses, especially horses, all tied up into doing something like this one with the wagon's not that common. So very cool. Keep your eyes out for San Marcos, and you might be seeing a San Marcos blanket when you get to my scores.
Oh, this is a lamp for a overhead projector, I think. Bill picked this up, and I will be talking about this a little bit later. We picked this up for $1 and sold it for that full asking price of $69.99 plus shipping. So weird thing, technical or electronic
stuff.
Yeah,
so where'd you find that at?
You'll find out in a little bit.
Okay, my bad. Next.
Oh, I bought a whole tote of this Bennington Potter's Vermont spongeware at one of my favorite thrift stores for $8. We have sold $459 of this stuff so far. That bowl is huge, 7.5 quarts. And before I listed it, I packed it, so I knew exactly how it was going to pack. So this spongeware is a really good seller.
Very cool.
Sold for full price of $139.
Nice. All right. Hey, look what I sold, the San Marcos, but I sold a baby one for like a crib. This is a tiny one, 50 by 42. It's got 2 little teddy bears on it with balloons. And you will know if you have a true San Marcos, even if the tag is gone, is the one side is the negative of the other side. So here's the one side, and then here's the negative reverse. If it looks just like the back of it, then that is not a San Marcos. So that's the telltale sign. This was nothing big. It was at the thrift store for $1.99. The brand is Bellini, made in Italy. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. And this is the time where you utilize your black background because this little white guy really pops. He's only 4 inches big, so he's not real big, but he really pops in that black background. And I got $30 for him.
Wow, that's great for a little guy.
And I've been telling you about this brand forever. I used to wear it in the 90s. Mérite François Gerbeau. I flip them all the time, and this is one of my bigger ones, 48 by 30, and sold for a full asking price of $45.
Nice. I've only found the shorts in that brand.
And this Forbidden Island is a tiki bar up in Alameda, which is in Oakland, California. And when they first opened, they had these shirts, which they don't sell anymore, I'm pretty sure. And so I sold this medium one for $80.
Nice.
And I've sold like 3 of these. I had a couple. I thrifted one. So they are out there. They can be found. So keep your eyes peeled for them.
Cool. I live close to Oakland.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. Now it's time for our CD scores of the week. Here's the best CDs I've sold this week. If you are not flipping CDs yet, you are missing out on so much extra money. First one, we all are fans of Tenchi Muyu, aren't we? Yeah, I have no idea what it is, but based on what I do and how I scan, I knew this was a winner. And this was not the best condition. If it was in great condition, I probably got 100, but this was listed for less than 24 hours and sold for $50. And I paid $3.99 for it.
So that's anime, right? Manja?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce that? Okay.
This is a special version of Madonna's Ray of Light. I forgot that I had just listed it. I wanted to sell it for more like $55, $60, and I ran a sale. So it sold really quick at $48.74. Now I did pay $25. I was expecting to double my money. I almost did. But it's one I've sold many times in the past, so I knew even spending $25, I can still make money off of it. But speaking of making money off of spending big money, this is where I said in the preview, you might poop your pants tonight. I sold a Creed CD for $139. Yes, Creed, the band that every other CD of theirs is worth about a penny. But this was their first version on an independent label. And so collectors will pay big money for it. I paid $50, knowing that it always sells in the $150 range. When all the smoke cleared, Deb, my profit was $67. So if you know what you're doing, I would hope every one of us would spend $50 to turn around to make $67 profit.
Yes.
All right. Because it can be done. You should, as much as I love my mother and her quarter items, when I see a $50 item that I know is a quick flip, and it was only up for maybe 2 weeks, maybe not even. And I got a lot of lowball offers. And what I mean by lowball, offers of $80. Those were lowball offers. But I held my ground. I got $139. It was close to the $150. So I took it. Now, if you've not seen my webinar yet, if you don't know anything about flipping CDs, head on over to www.flippincds.com. And there I have a 2.5-hour webinar packed with so much information, you're going to need to watch it 3 times to catch it all.
For sure.
Now, if you have not seen it and you're not in the Secret Beach, I do give away one every week. So I'm about to give you a trivia question. The first correct answer will get the webinar. So please, again, if you've seen it, or if you're in the Secret Beach, do not answer. Please. I'd love to give it to people who have not seen it. And I would say of the 50% of these we've done, the winners have been people who didn't need it. So please, please, please don't play if you've already seen it. All right, here we go. Maybe. Here we go. 37 years ago today, one of the all-time biggest bands played their first live gig in Anaheim. Who is it? Now, I gave you a little clue if you watch my teaser for tonight's show.
And I had no clue, so I can't help you.
Quick, I will throw out a few more clues, but they're still prevalent today.
Yep. Yep. All my guesses were wrong.
And if you follow me on social media, you may have seen me at their concert not too long ago. Good guess, Michael. Kiss? No, definitely not Creed. No, but Kiss started in the 70s. Kiss, no doubt. How old do you think Gwen is? This would be 1982. Gwen would have been about 10 years old. All right, Jesse gets it. Jesse and Nicole, Metallica. That was their first gig. So there it is. So Jesse, do me a favor, message me on Facebook, and I will send you over the link for your free webinar. Good job.
Now, are they a USA band?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they formed. They currently reside in San Francisco, but they formed in LA.
Oh, I'll have to go visit them.
But for those of you who have not seen it, who did not win, head over to Flippin' CDs. I'm going to teach you how to find CDs that are worth money in record stores. That Creed was in a record store, and teach you how to quickly get through the racks at a thrift store. Thrift stores are just a crapshoot what you're going to find, but there is a lot of stuff that you don't even have to bother stopping and looking at. So I'm going to teach you all that in the webinar.
Yes, it's fabulous.
But not everything can be good sales. Now it's time for our duds of the week. Do not let our mistakes be yours. We probably should have left these things behind.
Well, these have been listed like forever, and I just lowered the price down, and we'll see if they sell. But I know people have VHSs, and I know people like trains, so I expect they should sell any day now.
All right. Debbie's got some train videos if you've got that VCR.
Okay, I want you to take a quick guess. How many views do you think this has had in the last 2.5 years?
2,000.
Okay, not quite. 1,574. We accepted an offer the other day of $9, and that included free shipping, but I was just happy to see it go.
Bye. All right, now this one, definitely recommend keeping your eyes peeled for minor league baseball teams. Their hats sell well because they don't sell obviously as many as, say, like the Cleveland Indians would. And so I always keep my eyes peeled. This was from the Nashville Sounds, but it was specifically the Tiny Toons Kids Club, which I didn't realize until I got home. And I only paid like $3. I sold it for $18.74, which I still made money, but it was in my store for like 2 years. So yeah. I would have definitely not had bought that had I realized it was just for the kids club that go to the Nashville Sounds. If it was a straight up Nashville Sounds cap, I definitely would have bought it. But keep your eyes peeled. AAA, AA, and single A. And some jeans are great, like Mérite Francois Gerbeau, and some suck, like Artful Dodger. Artful Dodger are very colorful. They're very cool. But, man, I stopped buying them, and this is my last pair I had. Someone finally offered me $10. And I'm like, yes, it's out of here. I had $6.99 shipping, so I lost 33 cents on the shipping. And I paid $15 for these jeans.
Oh, those days are over.
One of the worst duds I've had in a while. I really ate it, so.
Yeah, just shows that even the experts goof once in a while.
Yeah. So, but when you learn more from your mistakes than you do your successes, and David will be a testament to that. And I know I will never buy that ever again. All right, now it's time for Where in the World Did Our Stuff Go? Each week, I sell tons of stuff internationally. If you are not selling internationally, you are leaving out 7.3 billion with a B potential customers. And yay, Debbie has some international sales.
Finally, I think I've had 2 in 2 weeks finally. This is Aloha Hawaiian shirt. I can't remember the brand.
Diamond Head.
Oh, it's a Diamond Head
nice
shirt. Went to Bangkok, Thailand for $34. So finally, yay.
Yay. And if you're in the thrifting board, you definitely already saw this shirt once. I found this shirt during a class. I always give everything we find when I teach a class to the class, and everyone was afraid to take a motherfucker t-shirt. So I took it, and it sold to Olfen, Germany, and I think I paid $3, and I sold it for 23 plus shipping and made a couple bucks on shipping. It was listed for about 5 months, but I knew it would sell, and based on the reactions in the thrifting board, everyone who saw the post, who if it would have fit them, they said, oh, I would have kept this shirt for sure. So yes, don't be afraid of bad words. Bad words are okay if they're on the item you're selling. All right, now it's time for Close Encounters of the Thrifty Kind. All right, real quick. Somebody want to know if the webinar, the CD webinar is half off. Yep, right now we're running a 50% off special. If you go to the website, I'll tell you what the code is right there. So now's the time to get it. All right, so you all been hearing about Stacy and I having to run back and forth to Chicago. So here's the story. Without further ado, here's the story. So I was there to speak at Ecom Chicago, one of the best ecom events in the country. It's coming up. I'm speaking again this October. We'll have more details about that coming soon. But while we were there, we discovered there was this high-end bar that we had never been to called the Milk Room. It's tiny. It only seats 8 people. Is probably the most expensive bar in Chicago. It's $50 to get in, and then that $50 comes off your tab at the end. Now, what the point of the Milk Room is, for the most part, they have spirits that don't exist anymore. So they'll have like 1970s scotch, and they'll have 1940s Pernod and 1930s absinthe, and they had some 1800s Japanese whiskey. So they curate this booze from around the world that doesn't exist anymore. And so essentially you're drinking history. And, they add to it some really high-end modern stuff. So it's just, it's for people who've got, some money and love cocktails. And so this was going to be our big date night in Chicago. So you got to make our reservations. You pay your $100 and all right, cool. So we go there and the guy gives us they give you a welcoming cocktail. He describes what's in it. And at the end of the description, Stacy looks at me and she goes, I don't know any of those words. She knew one word. So basically it was like a champagne cocktail. It was very, very good. And then this was the first 2 cocktails we ordered. And this was us having fun.
Oh.
And towards the end of that cocktail, we were starting to decide what we're going to order. And those 2 cocktails, I think Stacy's was like $28 and mine was maybe going to be $30. And it's important for you to understand how high end this is to hear what happened. I normally wouldn't brag about what I paid for a cocktail, but it is very important to this. This whole place is tiny. It's small. It's exclusive. So guy sits down. It goes Wall, Stacy, me, and then a guy and another guy. They just sat down, and that whole bar seats 8 people. So it's tiny. 1 bartender, 1 bar back, 8 people, the door, the wall. That's it.
Wow.
And the guy sits down, and he is so loud. He's talking like he's outside at a Chicago Bears game. Oh my God, I love this place.
I think he had some drinks.
Yeah. And her and I start whispering like, he's ruining the mood. I didn't say anything at first. So then he gets the cocktail he orders, and I'm about to say a naughty word. So if you have any kids listening, give them earmuffs real quick.
Or if you're a prude.
Or if you're a prude. He goes like this. He takes a sip, Deb. Oh my God, that's so good. I'm coming in my pants.
No.
Yeah. So that's when I reach over and I tap him on the shoulder, and I'm like, and he's so drunk, he don't feel me tapping him. Now I haven't.
He's not next to you.
He's the guy next to the guy. So I'm reaching around the guy next to me and I'm tapping his shoulder. And I finally said to him, do you have an indoor voice? And he goes, a what? And I go, an indoor voice, quieter. And he reaches out and goes, yeah. And he slaps me. And I grab his wrist. I go, don't effing touch me, man. And the bartender sees it, tells him to knock it off. And while I'm holding his wrist, he's trying to grab my face. So security comes, they're talking to him. And I heard him say at one point, well, I'm an art professor. That's what he says.
Oh.
Now, why security didn't remove him, he's already touched another patron, is beyond me. And I'm going to have a conversation with them very soon.
And he was obviously drunk.
You think?
So this is now my look, because I took a selfie right after he got in my face. And then the bar apologized. And those 2 glasses are 2 pours of some very expensive rum. And what this awesomeness is in front of you is carrot cake. It's their version of carrot cake. So the orange cubes are the carrot cake, the brown cubes are the sponge, and the white cubes are the ice cream. And then there's like freeze-dried something or other. It was the most amazing carrot cake you've ever seen in your life and tasted.
Just like carrot cake.
Oh, but so amazing.
Wow.
So this was their apology to us. Sorry that happened to you. Have some carrot cake. Had this really expensive rum, and it's really good. And so we're enjoying it. So then we're getting ready to order our next cocktail, and he gets up to leave with his buddy, and he's been joined by another buddy, and I don't see him really coming towards me, and Stacy sees him, and she assumes he's going to apologize to me. Nope. From behind, he chokes me, he punches me in the head, He spits on me.
Oh my gosh.
Calls me a mucking maggot, but change the M's to F's.
Oh my gosh.
So I explode out of my seat. I grab him. I drag him out of the bar. And later on, I said to Stacy, I go, hey, who opened the door for me when I drug him out of the bar? She goes, oh, you just crashed through it.
Why not?
I throw him on the ground, and we're in the Chicago Athletic Association, and it is super fancy. It's all old. Marble staircases, all old wood, and it's full of people drinking. And like the needle skipped off the record. Here I am pushing a guy in the ground, and he's trying to stand up. I'm like, don't effing stand up. Because if we were in a bar on the south side, I probably would have just beat the shit out of him. But I wasn't done hanging out at this awesome bar. Oh, to back up, real quick side note, I had dropped my mom and Angela, who's in the chat, off at a tiki bar called 3 Dots and a Dash. And I said, look, we only get 2 hours at this bar. I'll pick you guys up in 2 hours and 15 minutes. They said, okay. So security comes, obviously. They want to throw him out. I said, screw that. I want him arrested. So they said, all right, let's go downstairs. They call the cops. 8 cops show up to arrest him. And he comes downstairs. I got a big scratch on my neck. And he is so drunk, he goes, I never touched him. Wow. And so the cops arrest him. Now, the first buddy, while the cops taking my statement, is standing outside but looking into the building, taunting me to try and fight me while the cops are getting my statement. And then the second buddy says, oh, I'm on the job. I'm a cop. Let me tell you, officer, how it really went down. And then he goes, wow. Me, he can listen. And I go, I don't give a shit about your dog and pony show. I'm going to go back upstairs and have a cocktail. So they arrest him. They take him away. And I go upstairs and I'm texting my mom, was in a bar fight. I'm okay. I'll be late.
Oh, no. Oh my God. Poor Peggy.
What happened was, oh, hang on. So as an apology, they said, everything's on us. What do you want? And I said, I want the best Mai Tai you can make my wife. So these are the 3 bottles they used. Somebody's asking if the guys are big. Hang on. That's the punchline to this whole story, everybody. So this first ball rum cost $500. The second ball rum cost $140. And that Grand Marnier cost $300. So that's what was in Stacy's $100 Mai Tai. And as an apology, they didn't charge us for anything. But, however, I did break my finger when I caught my wedding ring on the door, dragging him out.
Ouch.
So now let me give you the picture of what he looks like. I want everyone to picture Rick Moranis in either Ghostbusters or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Okay. The dude's 5'7", wearing a 3-piece suit, and thought he should fight me from behind.
He must have been wasted.
And yes, the Mai Tai was awesome.
And the Mai Tai was awesome. So we got to go to court, and we show up for court, and the bartender shows up for court. And as we're in court, we've flown back to Chicago. It's got a docket of who's in court that day. And Stacy goes, our dude's not here. And I'm like, what? So we during a break, we go in and we talk to the officer in the courtroom. The cop wrote the wrong date on our paperwork. No. And I even called to double check. And the asshole who answered the phone agreed with me that the date was right.
Wow.
So they said, all right, we're going to let the record reflect that you were here. So when he came in the next week and there's witnesses and video, all he's going to do is plead guilty. He's going to get 80 hours of community service. Life's going to go on for everybody. So next week comes, we get a call from the prosecutor. He wants to go to trial. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Is he drunk again?
No. So we're going to fly back, but it's when the first winter blizzard happened. They canceled court. We canceled our flight. They made it for a couple weeks later. So we fly into Chicago. We get to court, 9 o'clock. He doesn't show up. We're like, what happened? He finally shows up late. They realize we're both there. So they're going to start the cases for the day. The prosecutor pulls me in the hallway and she goes, well, he's going to take the 80 hours now and the court's going to allow it. I go, what? So why did we have to fly back here for what he already could have had?
Wow. Wow.
But the prosecutor did watch the video. She goes, yeah, that was pretty crazy. Because I go, you see how small he is and how big I am. He thought he would attack me from behind.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's the story. Recommend if you ever want to fight me, I wouldn't do it from behind in a bar.
And that's the last man. That's the last bar you would expect that to happen in. I could see that happen at a dive bar.
How much it costs because, yeah, we're in a bar on the south side drinking Malort. I would expect that. We're in a fancy bar in the Chicago Athletic Association. You don't expect to get assaulted 4 different times.
Oh my gosh.
So there's my story.
I can't get over the words he said. Oh.
We never saw the video. It was the bar had the video. So unfortunately we just have to go from memory.
But the good thing was every time we went back, we sourced, we made money, and we hung out with friends at Tiki Bar. So,
Yeah.
could be worse, and my fingers healed.
You turn lemons into lemonade.
Yep. All right, let's get right back to it, shall we? Remember the sound effect. Thanks, honey. Mwah. You have got to be shipping me little tips and tricks what to do and what not to do when it comes to shipping.
Okay, you know that you cannot use boxes that say batteries on it or alcohol. So if you happen to be at the 99-cent store and they have empty boxes that you want to use, you can use a big fat Sharpie to cover up the words, the barcodes, or I have a roll of this U-Haul packing tape. I paid $5 at the U-Haul store. Really nice, thick packing tape to cover up things on the boxes so that you can use them. And a funny story, years ago, a lady shipped a box of books to somebody, and it said keep in freezer on the box. Guess what the post office did?
Put in the freezer.
They did. And the buyer had to go to the post office to pick up her package, and it was in a freezer because someone shipped it in a box that said keep in freezer. So you want to make sure you cross-cut whatever you got to do to get all of those weird those things covered up on the box.
That's an awesome tip because that every one of us has had that problem once. All right, here's my shipment tip. When your peanuts get this low, make sure that you have another bag or box in the garage, because when they get this low and you don't have any, like I did 2 weeks ago, and you have like 3 tiki mugs to ship, next thing you know, you're calling neighbors and friends. You got any packing peanuts? So where should you get your packing peanuts? Well, of course, from Bubble Fast. That's who I get mine from. Mark and Robin are amazing. They're an amazing couple. They have an amazing company. And let me tell you, not all bubble wrap is created equal, and they sell the good quality bubble wrap. And I ordered their peanuts, and they're in Chicago. And I got it in 4 days.
Nice.
If you want to save 10%, use the discount code at Tiki Plug. But my main tip is pay attention to what you got in reserves, because all of a sudden you need a lot of peanuts and you have 0 peanuts. You're like, crap.
Good tip.
All right, now it's time for our thrifty tip of the week. Little tips and tricks to help you while you're out thrifting.
All righty. Now I'm going to show you where that lamp, that $69 lamp, came from. A county surplus store in our area. Great big warehouse. The back part of it, I believe they do auctions. Yeah, because you can see the auctions that they have going on. So you can walk in and find stuff. Well, I didn't want to get out of bed the first morning that Bill went. It's only on Fridays. He went and spent $19. And so far we have sold, got my notes all mixed up here, $174. Plus
nice.
We still have $76 more dollars listed, haven't sold yet out of that $19. Toner, ink toner, we just sold little mini cassette tapes to go on a little tape recorder player, weird things like that. And we bought a huge filter for a semi truck the other day. That's not sold yet. So look in your county, your city, and see if they have these surplus stores and go check them out.
Nice. And I just realized I didn't have a prop, but I think I can find the exact item on eBay in my solds.
They have a lot of monitors and chair desks. A lot of it's kind of grungy, but you never know if you need office furniture. You might find some of that in your look in your city and see if they have those, or your county.
Excellent tip. All right. So my tip, and I've said this before, it is the just out rack. When you're thrifting, fresh racks of clothes, fresh carts of stuff come out all the time you're there. Make sure you stop what you're doing and get right to the fresh rack, because you should be the first one to see it. And I forgot to bring it upstairs, but I found a 1996 Wile E. Coyote shirt. Kind of looks like this in t-shirt form. And the version I have sells for about $30, and that was hanging on the rack. That was the only good thing on the rack. But because I stopped and looked real quick, my $2, I perused, I found a $2 item. It's going to sell for $30. So always check out the just out racks.
I picked up a really expensive CD set off of the flat table, not the clothing. You know, when those racks come out that have glass and games. Oh, I've run to those.
Nice. All right, now it's time for our eBay tip of the week. Little tips and tricks to help you when you're selling online.
Okay, it is tax season time. Anyway, I don't know. Some people may not know. We just had ours done the other day. May not know how to get into the Sales Reports Plus. So eBay in the back side there's a place you can go, and I show how to Seller Hub, Selling Tools. Click on Sales Reports Plus. Go over to step 3 down there. They have an archive. And I think it goes back to like 2015, something like that. So I don't know, is there another slide that goes? Did I do another slide with this one? Just one. Okay, I was working on another one. So you can go in and you can sort it. You can see your fees, your eBay and PayPal fees. It's just a really good place to go in and check your numbers and see how you're doing. Helps with your tax prep. Because
the archive reports was there, so I just learned something.
Yeah, and I figure if I were to be audited, IRS is going to take these numbers over my numbers any day. So I can just print it out and go, here, this is what eBay said I did.
All right, so I'm tying Chicago back in on one of the trips. We always source at the CD stores, and Stacy found this in the budget bin. There it is, $1.99. So my tip is, if you can sell on multiple platforms, make sure to look around and get the best dollar, the most bang for your buck, because this does sell on eBay. 50 is the norm. That person sold for 35, sold it for way too little. Plus their title was kind of lacking. But on Amazon, it's going to sell for around $100, give or take. So I can sell on Amazon. So make sure that if you have multiple platforms, Etsy, Mercari, Posh, whatever you use, look for where it's selling the most and obviously sell it there. I mean, it seems kind of obvious, but some people they get so in the zone, they don't think about the other platforms they can work on. So make sure you get the most bang for your buck.
And that's always a good day when it says this item is only available from third-party sellers. Woo!
Yep.
Okay, we have a really awesome story. This is a letter that was shared by one of our Thrifting board members, Kathy Watts. You made a little autistic girl's day. My daughter absolutely loves the episode that Princess Minnie Mouse came from and the song she sings. I was looking for it everywhere. She had one. It got ruined in water. She was heartbroken and crying every night. And she's not put down the doll. So this mom bought it from Kathy Watts and then sent her this email, and I got permission to share it. And I found a picture of the little, well, that's the actual one she sold. So this is what we love about eBay. A little autistic gal, kids lose their plush, they lose their special blankets, and they find it on eBay from us.
That's the best part about being on eBay. All right. It is the return of Hubcap Joe. How long ago was Hubcap Joe on my show, Deb?
I think 4 years ago.
I think it was 3.
3 years ago, he was on. Hubcap Joe's been selling since 1999. He has a brick and mortar store too, so he's one that sells both places. And he has a really fun story about how he found his niche. He's also the New York City Historical Society member, so he makes cool videos about forgotten landmarks around New York City. And so we're gonna check in with him. How did this crazy wild snow winter affect his sales? Because he goes out and picks his hubcaps.
He picks it from the junkyard. So
junkyard, yeah.
The question we're going to have is, was he able to pick, or did people lose more hubcaps? It was a rough winter.
Oh yeah, when all that snow melts, he could just go out and pick it up off the side of the street.
No kidding, yeah. So the snow melt, it's just like Christmas all the way down the median.
Yeah.
All right, who's coming to ASD besides Debbie?
Me.
All right, so I speak every ASD, and I talk all about eBay, obviously, because they don't have a segment about Tiki Mug, so I talk about eBay. And if you're coming to ASD this week in Vegas, I am Monday from 3 to 3:45, how to optimize, promote, and better monetize your eBay listing. They've moved our classes to the show floor. I'm in booth C3124. The only bummer is I'm up against cannabis is the answer. Now, what are the questions? But yeah, so if you're in town, come see me. We are going to be getting together at Frankie's on Tuesday for cocktails too. So if you're, I will post in the groups. So if you're coming to ASD, let's hang out.
Yes.
And I'm going to be in Portland in a couple of weeks, and I'm doing my eBay and my classroom class. I meant to put the link down below, but I will after the show's over. April 5th and 6th. 5th will be the classroom class. 6th will be the thrift store class. You can take one or both. If you do take both, it is a discounted rate. And both days we spend about 4.5 hours together going over every aspect of thrifting and selling, what to find. I do spend a heavy emphasis on media like CDs, cassettes, records, because every single place you go has CDs. So that's the one product that you can find without fail.
Yes.
And for those of you coming to eBay Open, I finally got the schedule for all the extracurricular events we do. Sunday before eBay Open, it's the Ash Juice Party at the Double Down Saloon. Usually we get over there around 5 o'clock. Monday, those of you in the Secret Beach, it'll be our Secret Beach Bash. That'll be Monday from 11 a.m. to about 3 p.m. Tuesday night, for everyone, we do a huge luau tiki party at Frankie's Tiki Room. We all wear Hawaiian shirts and muumuus, and last year me and 2 other guys wore a muumuu. And then Friday, I have my huge thrift class on steroids. That'll be at 9 a.m. on Friday. where me and 9 other instructors give you an amazing class. It's no other class will you find 10 instructors to teach you. We do some classroom time. We do some thrift store time. We're also going to do some bins time. So that's the upcoming schedule. I will post that in both groups with a little bit more details on like locations and such. And oh, there we are. And now we're caught up. Let me get Dave back in here.
Take a breather.
And let's ring the doorbell. Hey, everybody, it's David. Yay! All right, did you find a tiki mug?
Well, okay, I couldn't find a tiki mug, but I found the best thing. Next best thing is a mug from Ireland. It's my coffee mug.
Nice.
So my
I
wife and I, we actually don't.
Oh yeah.
We don't collect tiki mugs, but we actually collect a coffee mug from every place that we travel. So I figured I would share that.
I love that. And by the
cool.
way, when we first introduced you, someone was loving your elephant in the background there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Ellie. That's her name.
Ellie the
Hi,
elephant.
Ellie.
Oh, real quick, someone wants to know what ASD is. ASD is kind of like eBay's open is for eBay sellers. ASD is kind of more so for Amazon sellers. It's the wholesale convention. So the convention center here in Vegas fills up with all these brands, and then you walk the floor, and they're broken up into sections. There'll be the beauty brand, the clothing area, the purse area, the smoking accessories area, and you can order wholesale and then sell your products. You could sell them on eBay too. Many do on Amazon and such, but it's huge. It's amazing. It's a lot of walking, but there is a ton of education classes that goes from Sunday to Wednesday. So besides being there to try and cut some deals, there is a lot of education for all aspects of e-commerce.
And it's free if you sign up before the deadline.
Yeah. And then once you're signed up, you get your badge every year for free. So if you want to come to Vegas and hang out and learn and see how it is. Have you ever been to ASD?
Me? No, I have not been to ASD yet. First time I heard of it, actually.
All right. There you go. It happens twice a year, March and August. So, yeah. And it's the week after eBay open in August. So a lot of our friends, unfortunately, have to spend like 2 weeks in Vegas in the summertime. We're used to it. Those who aren't, like, I got to spend 2 weeks in the summertime in Vegas. So, for those who don't know David, David's got an amazing story that kind of starts about 6 years ago. But I'm going to back up because I know the story, but I said I'm throwing a couple curveballs. Let's go back. What was your first job?
My first job ever?
Yeah, ever.
I was actually working at a cinema. I was working in the concession stand serving popcorn and soda.
And how old were you?
I was 16. I was in high school at the time. Yeah, I made $6.75 an hour.
When I was 11, I was a dual income 11-year-old. I had 2 jobs.
Wow.
I had a paper route, and my grandparents owned a pizza shop, so I started cleaning pans and dishes. So, man, when I used to go to garage sales and stuff, I had mad bank compared to my buddies because I had 2 jobs.
That's nice. I did have a paper route. I helped my mom in a paper route when I was younger, but I didn't know if that counted as a job.
Yeah, I had my own, and we lived on a street that was a big downhill and a big uphill. So when you're a fat kid and it's snowing, it sucks. I definitely learned about hustling back then because no matter what, the paper still had to be delivered.
That's right.
So I don't care how much snow, how fat you are, how bad your huffy bike is. You got to go. You got to go.
Do you have you have photos of that?
No, I don't have any photos of that. So you worked at a cinema. Did you go to college?
I did for 2 months.
Oh, you did work TV? Oh, yay. This is great.
Yep.
Did they ask you to leave like they asked me to leave?
No. But I used to skip class and I would go this is really nerdy, but I used to go to the library and read books on sales because I was bored in the college class. And then I realized it wasn't really for me. And I got a big bunch of flack from my family and stuff, but that's how I got into business and sales.
Now we're going to get to your whole story in a second, but let's cut to the present. You got flack from the family. How's the family feel now?
Yeah.
Oh, pretty good. My mom is actually learning how to make money on eBay like I do and stuff. Now I teach her. Yeah.
Yeah, I was the same way. My major was pop culture. And so for my major in college, I read comic books. I listened to rap music. We watched movies. And I did very well in that, but I forgot to go to English and math and history and everything else. And so, of course, mom and dad were very mad because my first semester I had a 1.3 and my second semester I had a 0.9
I
Uh,
didn't
Oh,
know
wow.
they go that low.
oh yeah, I was like one of the guys in Animal House, Mr. Blutarski, But I became a small part of pop culture, and I've been, become quite successful. So mom and dad are very proud now. They were a little not so happy many, many moons ago. So, but yeah, just when your head's not in it, you're like, meh.
Yep. Yeah.
So, all right. So you're reading about selling. So you quit school. What'd you start selling?
Well, I dropped out of school, and then actually my first sales job was safe home security. I used to be a telemarketer for security systems, so I got my phone skills that way. And I kind of jumped around for about a million sales jobs for like 2 years. I went from that to selling cars. I worked for Herb Chambers for about a year. I was actually pretty good at selling cars. And then I left that and I stayed. My longest sales job was at Kirby Vacuum Cleaners. I sold Kirby Vacuum Cleaners door to door, became one of the top people in North America selling Kirby Vacuum Cleaners. And now that I stayed there, became a sales recruiter for the company for like 3 years.
That's got to be the hardest thing to sell.
Oh, it was terrible. It was, he's talking about going up hills on a bike in the snow and delivering paper. Imagine knocking doors at 10 o'clock at night in the snow like that, selling a vacuum cleaner.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're lucky you didn't get shot.
I almost did a couple times. It was a little scary.
Now, if you're good at selling cars, that's a pretty decent way to make a living, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty
So
good
what
money when I
made
was
you get
19.
out of it? Or what made you say, screw this, I
I
want to go sell vacuum cleaners?
You know what? The car sales was tough because it was so much hours and I wanted freedom. I always wanted my own business. So I actually made like 50 grand in 8 months at 19 years old when I was selling cars. So it was good money, but I was like working 60, 70 hours a week and I had no life. And I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, this is not me. I don't want to do this forever. So I just wanted to find something else that I could start my own business. And then Kirby offered me some kind of franchise opportunity. But I bombed terribly, and I had 3 Kirby offices and failed 3 times in a row. It was pretty bad. Yeah. So actually, I had my first bankruptcy at 21 from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so I've never been, I never had to declare bankruptcy, but I've been in situations where I screwed up our checking account so bad we were $3,000 overdrawn. So I understand the feeling, but what were you thinking at that moment? You're like, Jesus, I'm only 21 and I'm in bankruptcy.
It was scary. Yeah. It was even bad. It was even worse too, because the manager there told me I couldn't cover payroll. So he's like, well, write checks to cover the payroll and just make sure you sell some vacuums. So I just listened to him. I was stupid. I was 21. And then you can imagine how that went down. It did not end well at all for me.
Oh my.
Yeah. So I got myself out of that mess, learned a hard lesson. And yeah.
It seems like if you got to file bankruptcy, 21 might be a good age because you still got a lot of years ahead of you. You usually don't have a house full of kids and 2 cars in the parking lot you got to pay in the driveway. Yeah.
Yep.
So I haven't shared this in quite a while, so I'm sure some of the viewers will be shocked by this, and I think Dave will get a kick out of it, talking about our early sales jobs. So my first career, for those of you who don't know, this was my tool of the trade. I sold, I'm going to put you on the big screen, Dave, so I can see your reaction. I sold cheerleading uniforms, so my job was to measure the cheerleader's bust and her hips and waist and go, here, try this on.
Wow.
That was my career for 5 years.
That sure as hell beats selling vacuum cleaners and working at a cinema.
It does, but people have this way more, notion that it's way more exciting because you're picturing adults. Now, I did have a few colleges and did a pro team or 2 here or there, but it's the 12-year-olds who haven't discovered deodorant yet. That's what sucked about the job.
Oh.
And being a man in a job where you're measuring a lot of women, you have and little girls, you've got to be very careful, obviously. And and inevitably there's a time where I bumped a boob or 2 accidentally, and then you're like, oh my God, I hope everyone saw that was accidental.
Oh.
And how long ago was that? It would be much worse today.
Yeah. And then to be funny, like I get to the sales call and they're like, you're a guy. I'm like, yeah, we made the appointment together. Oh, we just figured you were the secretary. I got that quite a bit. But it was a good job. And I really learned about sales, and I had it was a driving territory, and it was like about 4 hours big. So, that definitely set me on the path of, I didn't want to do that anymore, but I definitely understood more about the hustle, even more so doing that, because it was all commission. You live or died.
So now can you still look at people and you know about what size they are?
See, I used to be so good. It was a bar trick for me and my buddies. So they would bring because guys don't know girl sizes. No guy knows girl size. Like, but they would bring girls over from the bar. Like, he can tell your size. And girls are like, no, he can't. I'd be like, you're this, this, and this. And the girls would be just so amazed. Yeah, that was a fun bar trick we always had.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So bankruptcy happened. And then what would you do to get out of that?
Well, I went bankrupt again. And when I was 30, like I didn't do anything foolish like that, but I actually figured out how to succeed. But then the market crash happened and it just like, I couldn't pay the bills anymore. Everything changed and just shut down. And we had bought a house. My daughter was born that year. I couldn't keep up with the bills, so we lost everything again, unfortunately. Yeah. So then after that, I smartened up. So I started reading a bunch of books on business. I went back to my reading. I had gotten away from my roots, and I read about 300 books in a year to kind of like get myself back into, learning what not to do ever again.
Smart.
Yeah.
And some people would have given up, David. Some people would have just laid in the corner, sucked their thumb till everything just fell down around them till the end. And you didn't. And that's what's great about your story. You didn't suck your thumb and lay in the corner, because I've been there. I got fired from a job I loved, and I didn't know how we were going to pay the bills. And I didn't have much of skills at that moment. And so I actually sat on the couch for 2 weeks and sucked my thumb, basically. And I was like mid-20s. Didn't know I was going to pay the bills because our mortgage was dependent on both of us having a job, and I lost my job. And it was one of those best things that ever happened. I lost my job. Stacy got the offer to move out west. I went with her, ended up on game shows, ended up here in Vegas, got my own TV. So life works for a reason.
Yep.
Sorry. So you got your second bankruptcy, and then how'd you get out of that one?
So that I just kind of, like I said, I just read a bunch of books, and then I got smarter and realized all the foolish things I had done and put myself in bad positions. So then I wanted to start a business again, and I had been reading a lot of books on eBay. So I said to my wife, like, we didn't have much. I was working as a carpet cleaner, only making $300 a week, and I was supporting the family. We were living in my mother's basement. I kept all my overhead, low. We drove a junk car for, the meantime, just to kind of get back on our feet. And then I had a little bit of cash in an envelope. It was a couple $100. I said, we're going to go to some yard sales and see if we can find stuff to flip on eBay. And so we used to do that every weekend. We would go to yard sales. And I think I remember part of this thing, you had the toilet flush. You said the bad items. Well, we had, strings of those for about 3 months.
No Facebook groups back then to help you.
Yeah, no Facebook groups, right?
No. I had just started doing this around 2011. Facebook has just started taking off. So yeah, there was nothing like that. And I stumbled on it one day because I almost gave up. Like you said, I failed on a few items, lost money. And then one day it was my wife's anniversary, and I bought her a Coach purse for $30. And I thought, I didn't realize how much the purse was really worth at the time. But later on, I was like, I just wanted to do a little search, see what it's selling for. And I found it was worth $270 on eBay. So I accidentally found out that like high-end purses and stuff like that sell. So I said, why don't we go out next weekend and, see if we can find these designer purses. And that's how I got into it. The next week we went out and I bought 4 purses. It made $200 profit. And then that was my big profitable flip on eBay. They got my whole eBay business started. And then we started buying more purses. We're making like $400 a weekend. And then I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm rambling too much right now.
No, this is great.
So then we started putting ads on Craigslist to expand. And instead of going to yard sales, we started putting ads all over the place saying we pay cash for purses. And then we got our sales up to a decent amount there. And then once I had about a few $1,000s to play with, I wanted to see what other stuff I could buy. So then I started buying phones and electronics, and then within 2 months I was up to like $20,000 a month. And then I had, we went from that first time I bought that purse to 8 months later we did $250,000. So,
oh my gosh!
With using the phones and electronics. So that's how I got my.
Say, get the hell out of our basement.
Well, we actually started paying her rent after that, so she was pretty happy because she was letting us live there for free. So we stayed there actually for quite a bit of time, and then we moved into the place we're in now.
So what I thought you were going to say was, once I found out how much that purse was worth, I sold it.
I thought so too.
No.
I've done that.
No.
I bought my wife a purse that she didn't, need or anything, but I was in a secondhand store in Philly and it was cute. And I gave it to her. And then I looked it up and went, oh shit, that's worth like $200. So I sold that purse. I bought her something else. So that's a heck of a jump though, right from purses to electronics and phones. That's not a normal way,
It was a crazy thing with the real thing that pushed me over the edge was I had a major win with the purses one week and then a major loss. So I had bought two, you know what a Chanel purse is? You guys ever heard of that? Chanel.
Oh, yeah.
It was Chanel's really high-end purses and it was a double flap lambskin bag. They sell lot of money, right? And I bought it off these couple. I bought two of them from this girl who was rich in 10 minutes in the city where I live. And I bought them for $1,500 and we sold them on eBay the next day for $8,000 for the two of them. So I had made $6,500 in that one flip. And I was like, woohoo, I'm rich. I was going to start my whole business. And then 3 days later, I bought two of them for $2,000, found out they were fake. And I got one of those violation notices from eBay saying that they were counterfeit. And then that really made me mad. I was sick to my stomach for like 2 months after that. So after that, I was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing the purses. So I switched to phones and electronics, which I knew a little bit more about.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what made you, how'd you know about phones at that moment? Like what was your knowledge and what made you, because you were like, okay, I got to find something else. And you hooked into what you're really good at now pretty quick at that point. So what made that turn? Why'd you say,
I've always been like a techie geek. I was always into computer programming and stuff like that. Actually, my college degree I had a full scholarship for computer programming. So I'm always into like gadgets.
Wait a minute, you had a full scholarship and you only lasted 2 months?
Yeah.
Oh, you skipped that part of the story, mister.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, I got a lot for that. A lot of bad. Yeah. But it worked out. Obviously, I put my tech gifts to use somehow.
Good.
So that was good.
See, it all works out, moms. See, it all works out.
Nice.
So you started selling phones and you've gotten quite successful at it. So 6 years ago, you're living in your parents' basement broke as a joke. And how much have you sold on eBay in the last 6 years?
Over 2 million now.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. My current eBay sales this month, we're at 38,692 for the last 31 days.
That's awesome.
Now, of course, the first question we get is, how do you know if the phones are paid for, not locked, etc.?
Okay, I get that question a lot.
How many back alley deals are the guys like, you want to buy a phone?
Oh yeah. So I learned some scary lessons in the beginning of this business. So one thing I learned is I always got to get a bill of sale and a driver's license.
Oh.
So that protects me from getting any kind of bad items. So when I was brand new, I did start just buying them like cash, and I write this tiny little receipt. And one day I got a call from the police department saying I sold a laptop that was stolen on eBay. That scared the heck out of me. I went into the police department. Fortunately, I had an email from the guy, and I helped the cop find the guy and all that stuff. But after that, I hired an attorney, and I paid him a couple $1,000 to help me never get in trouble again. And so he wrote up this whole bill of sale, and he said, get a driver's license, and then I never had an issue after that.
Smart.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, too, people always get like, yeah, well, come on now, 38,000. Is this real? So look, there are plenty of people that I have seen that we have all seen in our circles of e-commerce over the last 20 years that ended up being snake oil salesmen, bullshit artists. It looked good, but behind the scenes, it wasn't. I know David. I've seen his figures. We've spoken at events together. He is the real deal. I see Rich and Nyla saying the same thing in the chat. So if you want to follow David, if you want to learn from him, and I wouldn't have people on my show that weren't the real deal. I mean, you should know that by now.
Yep.
There ain't no snake oil salesman on my show ever. So it's only people that we know very well that are doing. Because I'll be honest, at first I thought when he first popped up on my radar, I'm like, this dude's full of shit. There ain't no
I remember
way.
a long time ago. Actually, I posted in your group or something like that. It was like 3 years ago when I first started, and everybody was like, I don't know, kind of doubting me and stuff like that. And then you actually checked out my store or something. You saw it. But yeah, I sometimes I don't even say the numbers because I know it is kind of high. A lot of people won't believe it, but
But I've seen it, and I've seen it live on his phone. We've been together at conventions, I've said, and so yeah, there ain't no bullshit here. So because David does teach how to do this, and he's got courses, and he didn't come on to sell his course, but he came on to share his story. But I don't mind saying it because he's a super nice guy, and he helps a ton of people, and he's done it the right way. Like, he's been broke, he's been down, he's been broken, and there's no better teacher than someone who's been at the far end and now is at the other end. Because what'd you just buy?
Oh, I just bought a new house.
Yay!
Oh, congratulations!
And Crazy Man painted the whole thing in 3 days.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. I was going to do this actually stream from the new house, but I was like, no, I don't know if I should or not. We have no furniture in there yet. It's getting delivered tomorrow, so it'd be awkward.
So when you told me you couldn't be on the show until a certain day because you were closing a house, I thought maybe you were flipping houses too.
I tried that and failed miserably, actually. So no, I no houses yet. I haven't cracked the code on that one.
You inspire me.
All this shit, like, you don't give up. You're like, I'm going to keep trying until I find the right combo.
That's right, because like you said, most people would go get a job at McDonald's or Walmart greeter. They wouldn't keep doing it, but you're successful because you kept going, and you inspire all of us.
All right, so we have a very important question in the chat. Does it have a basement?
Does it have a basement? It does have a basement. It does have a basement. It's not finished, but it does have a basement.
Now,
It's got a little workshop, though.
How old are your kids now?
My kids, well, I have just one child. I have one daughter. She's 11 years old.
Okay, so she's got a while before she has to move back into the basement.
Oh yeah, no basement. She's got a room, and she picked out the colors and everything for her room and all that stuff. So she's excited.
Do you share your eBay seller ID?
Yeah, I can give it to you. I don't have a problem giving that. So it's Treasure Hunter 121680.
Treasure Hunter 12 what?
121680. Treasure Hunter 121680.
Now, don't you also have a free book that people can download?
Yeah, if you go to flipphonesforprofit.com, that you can download the free ebook and like some free training videos and stuff, and it sends out like my YouTube channel and things like that.
Because
I don't know if that's okay to say here and stuff.
I downloaded it, but I just haven't read it yet. But I thought that was nice.
Okay.
Because to give something free really helps people who don't have money yet and you've been there. You know how it is when you don't have money to invest in courses.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had a guy that helped me when I first started. Fortunately, he was a guy when I was cleaning carpets for, and he showed me kind of how to sell on eBay at first. He didn't tell me how to source though, but he did tell me how to sell on eBay. So that helped got me started. So I give away a lot of like free videos and things like that to help people now as well.
Well, that's what
Speaking of videos, Deb, here's his YouTube.
No, thank you.
Win It Life with Dave. And well, you got a lot more subscribers than me. Damn it.
Oh, we got to work on this. Maybe we can get some of his. Well, what I love about Jason's CD class too is it's affordable. So many courses start at like $1,200 or $500, and it's like, forget it. We need to make money, not keep spending it. So I'm glad
you guys got me excited about it. I want to start flipping some tiki mugs and CDs. When I heard about I saw the Donkey Kong there. I was like, ooh, I love old school video games. That's
see? So speaking of nerd stuff, let's talk about Magic the Gathering.
Oh.
I thought I was nerdy when I played Dungeons and Dragons, but then you took it to the next level. But you were ranked 96th in the world or the country?
Not in the world, but in the country. I was ranked 96 in Magic the Gathering. Yeah.
Wow.
Did
you make money doing that?
Nope. I mean, you make some money. I mean, I cashed in one of the largest tournaments in the world, and they gave me a $300 check. So it was you make something. Not for the work you put into it, though. Yeah.
Now, do you still play it? Do you still play it?
Oh yeah, I play it all the time. Yep. I was just playing with my friends.
What's one of your best flips that you sent us?
Oh, one of my best flips actually was Magic the Gathering cards. So Magic the Gathering is actually a pretty expensive hobby. So I have some of my decks actually cost like $3,000 to $4,000 to play with. So it's not just nerdy. It's also can wear your wallet down. But so I bought a Magic the Gathering collection for $1,000, and I flipped that for $8,000. So that was a big flip. Yeah. But I don't recommend that. Don't go out and buy Magic cards, because unless you know the game really well and you're a super nerd about it like me, you will just probably buy a bunch of junk stuff that's, not really worth anything, because I've seen that happen a lot.
Oh, that's a good idea. So playing it teaches you what to look for.
Yeah. I've been playing it since like the early 90s, so that's how I know a lot, like what's worth it and stuff. Yeah.
Does your wife play it, or does she give you shit?
Okay, so I had her play. We don't play games anymore because I'm too competitive, and she gets mad. So we kind of have an agreement, like we're just not going to play games with each other. So yeah.
Save the marriage.
Yeah.
And people are asking about the links to your book and your YouTube. Yeah, I will post all that. I've got to redo the description underneath because I forgot to post my links. So I'll post all the links if you're watching this YouTube underneath. If you're in the Thrifting board on the post for tonight's show, I will have the links too. So you can get his book, you can see his YouTube, all that stuff. So
Nice.
definitely check him out. What are you going to be at Ecom this year?
Ecom Chicago? Yeah, I'm going to do my best to make it. It was a blast last time. It's always a lot of fun going there.
All right, cool. So yeah, if you're coming, let's chat because we're gonna hang out, do some tiki bar crawls and talk about teaching. A friend of mine who doesn't have a job. She's got 3 kids. Her husband's got a great job, but just kind of on a weird thing. She decided to come with Stacy and I to Chicago, and we're gonna do a little road trip to Milwaukee. We're gonna hit some tiki bars. She's a tiki friend, and she goes, you know what? I want to sell on eBay and put that money aside and pay for everything because she's got all this good stuff to sell, but she's got lazy about it. I said, all right, cool. I'll help you. So she had to send me 2 pairs of socks that she had gotten for me. And she sent a picture from the UPS store. I said, whoa, wait, what are you doing? How much did it cost to send a couple pair of socks UPS? She's like $11. I go, oh. I go, okay. First lesson will be shipping for sure.
Yes.
But it's funny how people, no matter what, you used it to basically save your life. You were broke, you figured it out, you bought a house. She just wants to facilitate this trip so it feels like it's free almost. And so it's cool. So you find your angle, you find what you're good at and work on it and maximize it and keep hustling. And when the purses go a little awry, you move to phones. So what electronics do you do besides phones?
Pretty much anything I can flip and make a profit, like laptops. We flip tons of MacBooks and laptops and things like that. iPads, tablets, cameras, smartwatches. We flip a lot of those. It's probably 75% phones and 25% other electronics, just because phones are so rampant. There's so many of them. But yeah, any of those.
Wow, I didn't think people were still making money off of flipping phones, but they're so expensive nowadays. That probably is why too.
I like it because I learned from the show American Pickers. You guys ever watch that?
Oh,
American
yeah.
Pickers?
Oh, yeah.
The guy always used to say that that's how I learned a lot of my reselling stuff and strategy. And he says that you want stuff with low emotional attachment, and nobody gets attached to a cracked cell phone. So that's why I like it, because they'll sell it and they don't really care. I just want to get rid of it.
Reminds me, we have our daughters. I think it's an iPhone 4 cracked. We need to sell that.
That one, I'm not sure if you're going to get a lot for that. That one might be a good one, though, just to practice and sell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I was just about to ask this question and someone asked in the chat. So I know it's not just you on eBay in your basement. You also have stores.
Yes. Yep.
And so how many people you got working for you?
I have 4 employees right now. And for my eBay listing, I have an eBay lister as well who does the listings for me.
Nice.
Yep.
Bill Weeder has 2 iPhone 3s. Bill, what are you doing with iPhone 3?
iPhone 3. I started on those iPhone 3s when I started this business. I used to sell those for like $200. I'd buy them at like 100 and flip them for 200. I remember those.
We missed the boat on those.
Yeah. So David, what's the going rate for an iPhone 3?
I don't even know if you know what? Actually, if you got one sealed in the box, iPhone 2. If original iPhone 2 sealed in the box, I think is worth like $400 to $1,000.
I'm sure.
But the 3G might be just worth a handshake, or I don't know.
I think you get more money if you made a fun video of you like smashing it with a hammer or hitting it with a baseball bat or something.
Yeah,
probably make more money that way.
Do you sell a lot of phones internationally?
I don't sell anything internationally, so I just stick mostly to nationally.
I gotta imagine it would be headaches for you, right? With that.
Yeah. Because you get a little higher return rate with electronics than you do like the clothing and stuff like that. Yeah. So you don't want to be paying for return shipping from like Germany or something crazy with that. Smart. So yeah.
And as much as I always recommend everyone sell internationally, especially with phones and stuff, compatibility and all that. Yeah, I can see the headaches. You're like, yep, I do just fine selling domestically. I'm good.
And when I sold high-end fashion. when I sold high-end fashion like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and all that stuff, I did sell internationally, and you would get some big money from people like in Australia and things like that would pay big bucks for it.
Yeah.
Do you sell to Canada though?
No, not for phones. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Screw you, Canada.
Sorry.
This was an amazing show. Anything else? What do you got coming up? Anything specific? You got any cool shows coming up? Any courses? What's coming up? What's next on your radar?
Not much. I'm always just doing live stuff in my group and posting videos on YouTube right now. Pretty much the same thing I've been doing. Nothing coming up. I don't think I have any events coming up that I'm doing right now.
All right, but let's chat. If you're going to make it out here before I see you in October, let me know. And if you're going to be the ecom, we'll definitely hook up, and I'll take you to the bar. Got the shit beat out of me in.
Okay, sounds good.
David? Do you attend eBay Open in July in Vegas?
I haven't been to eBay Open yet.
You should come.
Actually.
You should come this year, but hurry up and get your ticket because right now it's $350 till I think April 11th, and it goes to $500, and it will sell out, no doubt, because it sells out every year. It's a fun party. We get to go.
Okay, maybe I'll try to get. It's down in Vegas, right?
Yeah, it is a great party, and then I throw a ton of great parties on top of those great parties. So
and there's good learning. There's
Oh,
good learning too. You get to the eBay execs are there, David Wenning and all they speak. So it's a good way to meet up with eBay executives and ask them questions. They can look through your account. So it's not just a party, but it is a fun party too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it would be fun to meet you in person.
All right, we had an amazing live turnout tonight, so thanks to David for that. So do us a favor, if you like David's story, if you liked my Chicago story, give us a thumbs up. If you like Debbie because she's cute, give us a thumbs up, or just give us a thumbs up. If you've never subscribed to the show, make sure you subscribe, and once you subscribe, and to anyone, like when you go subscribe to David's channel later, make sure you click the bell. The bell lets you know when that person's going live, so it makes it a little bit easier. However, I always do post it in the groups too to help everyone know when we're going to do a show. Speaking of, Mom and I will be on Sunday. I don't have our topic nor our time yet, and I am going to be doing a thrift haul next week because I bought a bunch of cool stuff this week, and I want to share it with you. Some of it will be some of the regular stuff I normally find that you guys will be like, oh yeah, that's what Jason finds, and some of it was a little different, so that's why I want to share with you guys. So stay tuned for a thrift haul, and that's it. So everyone have a wonderful evening. Debbie, thank you very much as always. This was episode 1 of season 7, and what a great kickoff here in David's story. So thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me. It's fun.
And
I'm gonna go read your free ebook.
I want to see pictures when the furniture's there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you on Sunday with selling past your expiration date and being thrifty over 50. Bye-bye.